Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Desvadim Vyasa Tato Jayamadiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtake. Correct. So today we will discuss from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12, which is entitled as a devotional service. And previously in this chapter we have seen how Lord has explained devotional service. First of all, when Arjuna asked him that which is the best one, to worship the impersonal feature of the Lord or personal feature of the Lord, then Lord explained that one should worship the personal feature of the Lord. And why so? 12th chapter. 555. There, after explaining that, Lord tells him that if you are not able to render devotional service, then you can do karma yoga. If you are not able to do that also, then offer the activities and the result of activities, whatever you do, to him, or some philanthropical cause. Ultimately, you should get detached from the propensity of possessing something. And after explaining that, Lord is explaining to Arjuna about qualities of a person who renders devotional service to the Lord. If someone claims themselves or himself as a devotee, then what qualities he should possess, that has explained here. क्या है टेक्स्ट नंबर उसमें? चौदह और 15 श्लोक संख्या। अद्वेष्टा सर्वभूतानां मैत्र करुण एव च निर्ममो निरहंकारः समदुःख सुखक्षमी संतुष्टा सततं योगी यतात्मा दृढनिश्चयः मयि अर्पितमनो बुद्धिर् यो मद्भक्तः से प्रियः. Yes, but is a kind friend to all living entities, who does not think himself as a proprietor and is free from false ego, who is equal in both happiness and distress, who is tolerant, always satisfied, self-controlled, and engaged in devotional service. His mind and intelligence fixed on me. Such a devotee of mine is very dear to me. So here the Lord is explaining about the person who is dear to him. Do you want to become dear to the Lord? Yes. Okay. Then these are the qualities that you have to achieve. Which one is that? Yeah. But how you can become santushta? When he is not envious of anyone. Adveshta. Adveshta. Adveshta sarvabhutanam maitra kruna eva cha. Sarvabhuta means all living entities. For everyone, when he becomes adveshta. So where is then difference? Sometimes we get struggled. Oh, he is not chanting, he is not doing devotional service. Huh? You have to give up on that things. Let Krishna take care of that. You chant your rounds, be sincere and serious. Krishna will take care of that living entities responsibility. So one who is not envious but is kind friend to all living entities, that person is dear to Krishna. Who does not think himself a proprietor and is free from false ego. There was a nice one picture someone sent me. That picture was like a foot mat outside the house. And very nicely written on that. Shoes and egos keep outside the house. So the person who is egoistic, why is egoistic? Because he thinks himself as a proprietor. If he thinks himself as a proprietor, then definitely he will be egoistic. If he is egoistic, then he will be envious of others, and that person will not become dear to Krishna. So if you desire that you wanted to become dear to Krishna, then you should develop these wonderful qualities. And such a person who is not envious of anyone, who is friend to everyone, Santushta Satatam Yogi, who is engaged. Yogi means who is well connected with the Lord, he will remain self-satisfied. He does not need anything else to give him satisfaction. And such a devotee of mine is very dear to me. That's what Lord says. In the purport, Prabhupada says, coming again to the point of pure devotional service, the Lord is describing the transcendental qualification of a pure devotee in these two verses. A pure devotee is never disturbed in any circumstances. Yasmin sthitona dukkhena gurunam api vichalyate. Yam labdhva chaparam labham namanyate adhikam tatha. Yasmin sthito hi dukkhena gurunam api vichalyate. The person, when he is situated on that particular platform, Yam labdhva chaparam labham na manyate adhikam tatha. When he gets engaged in the Lord's service, then he feels so satisfied that he thinks that nothing else I required in this world to make myself satisfied. And he never gets disturbed then. Now the most heaviest or most disturbing thing comes in his mind or in his life, he never gets disturbed or distorted with that. A pure devotee is never disturbed in any circumstances, nor is he envious of anyone. Nor does a devotee become his enemy's enemy. He thinks, this person is acting as my enemy due to my own past mistakes. So it is better to suffer than to protest. In Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 14th chapter, 8th verse, it is stated, Tattenukampa susamikshamano Unjana evatmatatam vipatam. Whenever a devotee or has fallen into difficulty, he thinks that it is the Lord's mercy upon him. He thinks, thanks to my past misdeeds, I should suffer far greater than I am suffering now. So it is by the mercy of the Supreme Lord that I am not getting all the punishment I am due. I am just getting a little by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of the Godhead. Therefore, he is always calm, quiet, and patient, despite many distressful conditions. A devotee is also always kind to everyone, even to his enemy. Niramama means that a devotee does not attach such an importance to the pains and troubles pertaining to the body because he knows perfectly well that he is the material body. He does not identify with the body. Therefore, he is freed from the conception of false ego and is equipoised in happiness and distress. He is tolerant and he is satisfied with whatever comes by the grace of the Supreme Lord. He does not endeavor much to achieve something with a great difficulty. He is always joyful. He is a complete perfect mystic because he is fixed in instruction received from the spiritual master. And because his senses are controlled, he is determined. He is not swayed by false arguments, because no one can lead him from the fixed determination of devotional service. He is fully conscious that Krishna is the eternal Lord. So, no one can disturb him. All these qualifications enable him to fix his mind and intelligence entirely. Such a standard of devotional service is undoubtedly very rare. But a devotee becomes situated in that stage by following the regulative principles of devotional service. Furthermore, the Lord says that such a devotee is very dear to him. For the Lord is always pleased with all his activities in full Krishna consciousness. So here we can understand, because of these wonderful qualities that devotee possess, he becomes so dear to their Lordship. Further he says, Yasmanno dvijate loko lokanno dvijate chayaha prashama harsha bhoyo dvegair mukto yah sachame priyaha. He by whom no one is put into difficulty and who is not disturbed by anyone, who is equipoised in happiness and distress, fear and anxiety, is very dear to me. A few of devotees' qualifications are further being described. No one is put into difficulty, anxieties, fearfulness, or dissatisfaction by such a devotee. Shadow, yeah, it's the direct shadow. At the same time, if others try to put a devotee into anxiety, he is not disturbed. It is by any outward, it is by the grace of the Lord that he is so practiced that he is not disturbed by any outward disturbance. Actually, because a devotee is always engrossed in Krishna consciousness and engaged in devotional service, such a material circumstances cannot move. Generally, a materialistic person becomes very happy when there is something for his sense gratification and his body. But when he sees that something for their sense gratification and he hasn't, he is sorry and envious. When he is expecting some retaliation from an enemy, he is in a state of fear. And when he cannot successfully execute something, he becomes dejected. A devotee who is always transcendental to all these disturbances, very dear to Krishna. It's the general propensity of Jiva that when he gets something, he becomes so happy. When he does not, and someone else gets it, then he becomes disturbed. But devotee, because he is always situated in such a wonderful position where he thinks that whatever Lord has given him, that is best for him. And he is happy with that. And such a person is dear to the Lord. The Lord further says that anapeksha shuchirdaksha udasino gatavyayaha sarvaramba parityagi yo madbhakta sme priyaha. My dear is telling to Arjuna, my devotee who is not dependent on the ordinary course of activities, who is pure, expert, without cares, free from all pains, and not striving for some result, is very dear to me. If you look at the life of Prahlad Maharaj, you will find all this quality that Prahlad Maharaj has. See, his father became enemy of him, and he tortured him like anything. Even we can't think of him. And that's up to his own son. And when that Hiranyakashipu got killed, then what Prahlad Maharaj asked from Narasimhadev? He said, oh my Lord, because of foolishness my father has offended you. Please deliver it. Can you imagine? The person, as long as he was alive, till the last moment he was torturing Prahlad Maharaj. Physically, mentally, intellectually. But after his death, what Prahlad Maharaj is asking for him? If we would have been there, we would have asked him, just put him into the hell for forever. But Prahlad Maharaj, being a devotee of their Lordship, who has not got disturbed at all in all adverse situations. And why he was like that? He gives reason for that. He tells it to Narasimha Bhagavan that Shocheto vimukashetasa indriya. Oh my Lord, my mind is always engaged and engrossed in thinking about you and your wonderful pastimes. Mad Vidya Gayana, Tvad Vidya Gayana Mahamrita Magna Cheta, Shoche Tatorka Chetasa Indriyartha, Maya Sukhaya, Paraduratara Vaitara, Naivo Vijay Paraduratara Vaitaranyas, Tvad Vidya Gayana Mahamrita Magna Cheta, Shoche Tato Vimuka Chetasa Indriyartha, Maya Sukhaya Bharama Udhavato Vimuna. See, he's showing his compassion for all the living entities. What he says here? Oh Lord, I'm not much concerned about myself. Why? Because my mind is totally absorbed, always in thinking about you and your wonderful qualities. So I'm not worried about staying in this material world. I'm worried about those people who are Vimukha Chetasa and their face around from you. Harama Udbhavato Vimudan. For such a fools and rascal I'm caring about. And please take all of them back to Godhead, and whatever sufferings they have to undergo, let me suffer for them. Consciousness of a pure devotee. And such a pure devotee is dear to the Lord. So anybody who claims that, oh, I'm a devotee now, then he should just look at himself, whether he possesses all these wonderful qualities or not. Then further he says, Yo narshati na dveshti na shochati na kamshati parityagi bhaktimanya same priyaha. One who neither rejoices nor grieves, who neither laments nor desires, and who renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things. Such a devotee is very dear to me. Once the living entity, he gets connected with the Lord, then he becomes liberated from all dualities of this material world. something is bad, something is good, something is mine, something is someone else. That never comes in his mind. And then what happens? That person becomes Sama Shatro cha Mitra Mitre cha Tatha Mano Pamanayoho Shitoshna Sukha Dukkeshu Sama Sangha Vivajitaha Tulyaninda Stutirmauye Santushto Yena Kenache Aniketa Sthiramatir Bhaktimane Vyona. One who is equal to friends and enemies, who is equipoised in honor and dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy, who is always free from the contamination association, always silent and satisfied with anything, who doesn't care for any residence, who is fixed in knowledge and who is engaged in devotional service. Such a person is very dear to me. A devotee is always free from all bad association. उसमें डाल देखा होगा रिसीट के साथ तो मंदिर का ही होगा ना. But devotee is always free from all bad association. Sometimes one is praised and sometimes one is defamed. That is the nature of a human society. But a devotee is always transcendental to artificial fame and infamy, distress and happiness. And that's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that Maro bhi rakho bhi jo ichha tohar tuapade arpilo. So whatever you wanted to do, or Mahaprabhu says that Ashli Shava Padaratam Benashama Adarshanam Marmatam Karo. Oh my Lord, whatever you want to do, you do it. Whether you want to embrace me or whether you want to embarrass me. Whether you want to hug me, whether you want to trample me. Or you just kick me. I don't mind. Because I know you are the only savior for me. So then they are not bothered about any other situation in their life. Devotee does not speak of anything but topics about Krishna. Therefore, he is called silent. Silent does not mean that one should not speak. Silent means that one should not speak nonsense. That is what silence means. One should speak only of essentials. The most essential speech for the devotee is to speak for the sake of Supreme Lord. A devotee is happy in all conditions. Sometimes he may get very palatable foodstuffs, sometimes not. But he is satisfied. Nor does he care for any residential facility. He may sometimes live underneath a tree, and he may sometimes live in a very palatial building. He is attracted to either is called fixed because he is fixed in his determination and knowledge. He may find some repetition in the description of the qualifications for devotees. But this is just to emphasize the fact that the devotee must acquire all these qualifications. Without good qualifications, one cannot be pure devotee. Harava bhaktasya kuto mahatgunaha. One who is not a devotee has a no good qualification. One who wants to be recognized as a devotee should develop the good qualifications. Of course, he does not extraneously endeavor to acquire his qualification, but engagement in Krishna consciousness and devotional service automatically help to develop these wonderful qualities that we have to understand. And that's why in Srimad Bhagavatam 5th canto, Maharaj Rishabhdev, he gives his instruction to his sons. There he mentions that Yasyat asti bhakti bhagavati akanchanaha samasate sarva gunaihi sura. When the devotee becomes totally dedicated to their Lordship, then automatically he gets all divine qualities. He does not have to do any extraneous work or cultivation of these qualities, but they get manifested in his heart when he is engaged in the Lord's service. At the last conclusive verse of this 12th chapter, he says, Ye tu dharmamritam midam yatoktam paryupasate shraddhadhana matpadama bhaktaste ativa me priyaha. Those who follow this imperishable path of a devotional service and who completely engage themselves with faith, making me the supreme goal, are very, very dear to me. Lord says, the ativa priyaha. Bhaktaste ativa me priyaha. They are very, very dear to me. Who follows this imperishable path of devotional service? Yetu dharmamritam midam yatoktam paryupasate shraddhadhana mat parama. With the faith, making me the supreme goal. Mat parama. This mat parayana, devotees of the Lord, they are very special. They are very dear to the Lord. And they are very rare also. You can't find them in lakhs and millions, at least in this material world. Spiritual world, there are in trillions, they are there. They are serving the Lordship. But in this material world, to find out Shraddhavan and Narayana Parayana, it's very difficult. Narayana Parasarve Narupaschana Vidbhati Swarga Apavarga Narakeshu Kulyartha. For Narayan Parayana, who was totally engaged, their mind, senses, they become totally Narayana Parayana. And for such a person, it's not very tough to remember their Lordship. And we have examples like Maharaj Prahlad, then Devarshi Narad, and all our great Mahajanas. They are the emblem of this Mat Parayana, or who are engaged always, constantly in the devotional service of the Lord. Even though they are rendering their material activities, they are performing all the, as a common man does his activities. Simultaneously, they were remembering their Lordship, keeping Him as the center of their activities. And that's why they become glorious. In this chapter, from verse 2 through the end, from Maya Avesha Mano Yema, fixing the mind upon me, through Yetu Dharmam Vratam Idam, this religion of eternal engagement, the Supreme Lord has explained the process of transcendental service. Approaching Him, such a processes are very dear to the Lord, and He accepts a person engaged in them. The question of who is better, one who is engaged in the path of impersonal Brahman, or one who is engaged in the personal service of the Supreme Personality of the Godhead, was raised by Arjuna. And the Lord replied to him so explicitly that there is no doubt that devotional service to the personality of the Godhead is the best of all processes of spiritual realization. In other words, in this chapter, it is decided that through good association, one develops attachment for the devotional service and thereby accepts a bona fide spiritual master, and from him begins to hear and chant and observe the regulative principles of devotional service with faith. Attachment and devotion thus becomes engaged in the transcendental service of the Lord. This path is recommended in this chapter. Therefore, there is no doubt that devotional service is the only absolute path for self-realization. For the attainment of the Supreme Personality of a Godhead, the impersonal conception of the absolute truth, as described in this chapter, is recommended only up to the time one surrenders himself for the self-realization. In other words, as long as one does not have a chance to associate with a pure devotee, the impersonal conception may be beneficial. In the impersonal conception of the absolute truth, one works without fruitive result, meditates and cultivates knowledge to understand the spirit and matter. This is necessary as long as one is not in association of a devotee. Fortunately, if one develops directly a desire to engage in Krishna consciousness in a pure devotional service, he does not need to undergo step-by-step improvements in the self-realization. Devotional service, as described in the middle 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, is more convenient. One need not bother about materials to keep body and soul together, because by the grace of the Lord, everything is carried out automatically. It's very important. The last 2 sentences of this, but what Prabhupada says, one need not bother about materials to keep body and soul together, because by the grace of the Lord, everything is carried out automatically. How to understand this? Then why people are making so much of endeavor? They are creating hell out of a heaven by working like an ass. For what? Because they don't have a faith in Krishna. If you really develop that faith in Krishna, then life becomes very smooth. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he concludes this chapter. He says, these characteristics that arise from devotion and from peacefulness are not material qualities. This is in accordance with the statement, Krishna is satisfied only by devotion, never by material qualities. Bhaktya tushyati kevalam nacha gune bhakti priyo madhava. That's what Rupa Goswami Pad says in one of the shlokas in Bhagavad. That bhaktya tushyati kevalam nacha gune. Not these material qualities, but your devotional service for the Lord. That attracts the Lord. That satisfies him. The word bhakt means to. And this word indicates the introduction of a new idea. The devotees described up to this point have each perfectly cultivated one aspect of their personality. Those mentioned in this verse, however, are desirous of perfecting all these qualities. Therefore, even during the stage of sadhana, they are superior to those on the path of even if those individuals have achieved the perfect stage of their path. For the reason, the word ativa means extremely or very, very is used in this verse. Srila Prabhupada summarizes this chapter, as we have read already, that he explains about the glory of worshipping the personal form of the Lord. And Prabhupada says this is the only one of the best processes for self-realization. Develop Krishna consciousness. So all these chapters, they explain about the glory. थोड़ा extension का button on करें. So, this first 6 chapters actually, there is this Bhagavad Gita. Krishna discussed how Karma Yoga action on the platform of knowledge leads to bhakti. In the second 6 chapter, Krishna spoke directly of himself and the glories of devotional service. Up to this chapter. So next 6 chapters, the third 6 chapters, beginning with the chapter 13, Krishna discusses how jnana leads to bhakti. The first 6 chapters he says that how karma that leads to bhakti. And now, how the knowledge that leads you to bhakti, that has explained from chapter 13 to 18. So now we'll just recap the whole chapter what Lord has explained about and what he wants to convey exactly to us. We'll find out how essential it is to understand the connection between the chapters, and if you really want to study these chapters, want to study Bhagavad Gita, then you should mention what is the thin line between the 2 chapters. How it conveys the previous message to next chapter. Third chapter we have seen that Lord has shown the wonderful features of Vishwarupa. After seeing that, Arjuna got bewildered and he said, enough of that, I don't want to see that. I'm more interested in seeing you as a two-handed form. And then he asked, now please let me know, who is the best? The person who worship your impersonal feature or the person who worship your personal feature? And then first 7 verses of this chapter, Lord gives the comparison between pure devotion and impersonalism. How the devotional service to the Lord is easiest way to attain the Lord. The impersonalism is a very troublesome path for a self-realization. Then next, from 8 to 12, progressive stage of devotion that has explained. First one lives within Krishna by continuously fixing one's mind and intelligence upon him. Mayyeva madarasva mayi buddhi nivesha nivashasya mayyeva tavadhvam na samshaya. Then one practices the regulative principles of a bhakti yoga to increase one's desire and ability to remember and obtain Krishna. That is explained in text number 9. Then one surrender one's work to Krishna. If he is not able to remember Krishna 24 hours, then he can surrender his works to Krishna. If that is also not possible, then surrender the results of your work to Krishna. Like giving donation for festival, engaging your bodily strength in Lord's service. Then cultivation of meditation or knowledge. That has explained. And then the last part from text number 13 to 20, Krishna has explained about what are their qualities. So now, maybe tomorrow we will start the next chapter, which is known as Kshetra Kshetrajna Yoga. Not Kshetra Kshetra, that's like yeah, that's it. Nature, the enjoyer and consciousness, which speaks about the material qualities and soul and Kshetra. Kshetra and Kshetra. Kshetra means this body and Kshetra means soul. So what is the difference between them? What are the similarities? And how this Kshetra get covered with this Kshetra, that everything has explained in the next chapter. So we will start tomorrow. Thank you very much.